Yeah.
Clink.
There it is. Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. It felt good to not have to make something before
Yeah.
an episode. I'm not going to lie.
I started discovering I'm not a big fan of grapefruit. I don't hate it,
Really?
but it
Take
just
your Mexicard away. I'm taking it.
it just tastes like an orange that's an imposter.
I mean, I like imposters. We live in L.A. That's but fake shit going on out here, man. Come
That's
on.
very, very true.
Come on,
All right.
man.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the podcast where we pull back the curtain and give some insight on what goes on behind the scenes of your favorite. Jesus Christ. I went too fast and I tripped. I went too fast and I tripped. We like to call it the industry perspective. I'm not going back. We're here.
You're not going to apologize? You're not going to apologize for going too fast?
No. I tripped.
He's not going to apologize. He's not an apologizer, ladies.
No.
Just so you know. If it happens, he's not going to apologize. He told you what it was. He told you what it was. All right.
You know what this was.
Consider it P.
I got mine.
You better get yours.
You better hurry up and get yours.
It's always a race. It is always a race, not a marathon. Marathons have losers. How have you been? I actually haven't seen you in a while, so how have you been?
Good. Work has been a little bit on the slower side, but that happens considering the previous weeks were a little bit busier.
Yeah.
So I guess balance.
Yeah, it's also that time of year.
Yeah, we're just about to get busy, and then so it's kind of like people are saving up to go out. Although my one bar has a Halloween thing going on, so that's pretty cool. We got some Halloween themed drinks and stuff, so it's all decorated. It's really nice. It's really drawing more of a crowd.
Yeah, for the whole month.
Yeah, for the whole month. Nice. And then my weekend gig is the one that's kind of like, okay, well, depending on the events or whatever. But again, we had like a busy 2 weekends.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, no, we've been pretty slow where I'm at too.
Yeah.
I think between, sports going on, a bunch of concerts and everything like that.
You guys don't have TVs either.
And we don't have TVs.
Yeah.
And we don't have food.
Yeah.
That's a big thing where I work at, is not having food. A lot of people just want like something to snack on, I guess. Which we do have some kind of stuff, but just not enough for people.
You got nuts?
Got plenty of nuts. They smoked. We smoke our nuts, homie. We don't just come in with the regular ones. We smoke them first.
Smoked nuts.
Yeah.
There you go. Can't go wrong with some smoked nuts.
Yeah, no, we do got smoked nuts. We do.
Okay.
And pickled veggies.
Pickled veggies.
I felt like there was a better segue coming.
There was.
I didn't have one.
There was.
I stepped
That's
all
all
over
right.
that. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
No worries.
I also want to say that it was kind of nice to hear you stumble through the beginning of the episode.
Because I've done it so.
Well, you always try to go through it so quickly. And it's like the one time you're super nervous.
Yeah.
We know who's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have some guests here
He's
listening
all
in.
nervy. Look at him, so nervy. Mom is here.
She is. She's watching.
Yeah, she's in the background.
So I am trying to watch what I say. So she doesn't
shout out to Mom. I am not watching what I say. I am watching his face when I say what I say. Yeah.
No, I did stumble, kind of like when I stumbled on the scooter. You remember that? And I kind of just got right back up. That's how I did it with the intro.
Yeah, I cherish that picture. Yeah. That was pretty good. Because remember, I had fallen before that a couple weeks ago, and you had no sympathy for me.
Nope.
Yeah, no sympathy at all.
But see, I fell and got up really gracefully too. So just like with the intro.
Just like with the intro. Just like at work.
There we go.
Whenever we go to work, you never know what you're going to walk into. So you got to be ready to just hit the ground running, honestly. Or hit the ground and just stand there for 2 hours. Like you were saying, it's been slow for you. So.
Yeah, sometimes that, like my Wednesday, Thursday job, sometimes like that first 2 hours before people start to come in, it's just like, dude, what the hell is there to do? There's really nothing to do.
Yeah, it's that side work.
And even when there's like really no side work, you're like, all right, well, I'm just gonna scrub the ceiling, I guess. I don't know.
One thing I've always found funny is whenever it's slow, that's the only time you see people doing their side work correctly, because they just need something to do. The rest of the time, it's like, oh, did you do your side work? Like, yeah, I did it. You ain't do nothing. But when it's slow, man, that is the only time.
Napkins are folded straight to the edges and everything perfectly.
We be cleaning up like somebody's coming over to get something.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, you got to clean the whole place up and get it tidy.
Like, man, the fridges are kind of dirty. Let me take this toothbrush and just...
Yeah, you got to be ready in case anybody gets there. But that's also something I wanted to talk about, was just like when it's slow like this, having multiple jobs as you do, you know, and a lot of people that aren't in this industry, they don't understand how that works. So
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about that a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
bit?
No, for sure. I have 2 places, obviously.
Yeah.
And part of it is because like the economy that we're in, you know, you kind of need 2 jobs. And 2, for me, they're both entirely different, so it gives me like a break from one and a break from the other.
Yeah.
2 different environments.
Yeah.
But also because it gets a little bit slower, one place picks up more than the other, vice versa. So
Yeah.
just I guess those 3 reasons why I have 2 jobs. I like the change of scenery. I get to relax in one, or you know, one is picking up more. So it's just balance, really, for me.
Yeah.
So balance, and then having that multiple income is kind of nice.
Pretty nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Having 2 part-times is, in a lot of ways, for me, and sounds like for you and for a lot of other people, it's so much better than just having that one job that you go to every day. And as I've always said, you know, nothing against what anybody else does. It's just that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the same people every day, you know. But I've had a few instances where, you know, like for me right now, I'm only working one, which is kind of rare for me the last few years. I'm pretty much always working 2, but whatever. Not going to go down that rabbit hole. But for a lot of people, that's just something you have to do. Some places are only hiring part-time. And if you really want to get your foot in the door, you got to take whatever's on the table.
Mm-hmm. And then show
unintended. You got to take whatever's on the table.
Get that extra time.
Yeah. And, you know, part of the reason I brought that up was earlier this week I had a new hire bartender that was coming in to work with us. And while they were talking to the bar manager about their availability, which with our industry, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, with another job, it's like, well, we're open from this time to this time, and that's when you're here. But with service industry, it's like they could be open, you know, 20 hours a day, depending on the place. You know, I mean, that's rare, but if you live in like Vegas, New York or something like that, the place is always open. So you have your shifts. You don't have a set schedule, or maybe you do because you have kids at home or something. And while they were giving their availability, a customer was like, well, I always thought that when I start a new job, I want to be there as much as possible to show them how much I want the job and how much I appreciate it and this and that. And I kind of looked at him and was like, well, you know, it's kind of different, but it's also different in this industry.
Yeah.
We don't even have the availability to give her full time. So she's saying, these are the days that I could work. Is there a way to work that around all the other people that are working there? It's just something that's very unique for this type of job, and I think it's something that we don't talk about much.
Unless it's like your first job, then you know, give that open availability. But when you're working in service industry, you got to have your weekends open, nights. I mean, it's kind of like the standard.
Yeah.
Sundays, I mean, depends on the place and what you do. Some people are like, okay, well, you can't have Sundays. All right, we get it.
Right.
But
and open availability, you know, for those who don't know what it is, it's just basically when you go to management, you say, hey, I can work any day, any shift. They love that.
Yeah.
If you want to ingratiate yourself with a new place, you go in with open availability.
But be careful because if you get the wrong manager, they will take advantage of that and screw you over.
Oh, yes. They definitely will.
Oh, yeah. It's happened to me.
They'll just schedule for things without even talking to you about it. It could be a day that you normally don't work because, you know, they give you say open availability, and a lot of times they'll be like, well, I know your availability is open, but let's just try to give you these shifts so you at least know, and we'll bring you in when we need you. But there's always that tipping point where they just start bringing you in more and more.
Start stretching out that inch that you gave them. Start taking a whole mile.
Yeah, man. You got to be careful with managers on that. I mean, I would say that with any job, but especially with the service industry job, you just got to be very cognizant of who you're talking to. Find out about a place before you tell them you have open availability. I'd say even just close off some days just to see what they say.
Yeah, tell them you go to church on Sundays, even if you don't go to church.
Even if they're not open.
Yeah.
Because they could always change that.
They could.
Which we've seen happen. A lot of places, they won't be open today, and you'll love having that particular day off. And the next thing you know, they're open for that day. And guess who's opening or closing?
You.
Every shift.
You are. Because everybody else beat you to close off that availability.
Yeah. And it's so hard to get yourself off of a shift that you don't want to be on, especially when, say, that's the one day you get to spend with family members or kids or anything like that. You know?
I mean, it's not hard for me. I still won't go and be like, hey, I can't work this day.
Yeah.
You put me on the schedule, I'm still not gonna be. That's just me though.
That's just
me.
Him, which I will say I kind of feel that way about myself, but at the same time, it's not always true. You're one person that I have noticed, like, you will tell a job, I don't work.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like, I just
you have a prior arrangement, you stick to it.
If I got to do this, I'm not showing up.
Yeah,
sorry.
A lot of places, man, they don't like that. In a lot of places, they
like I've said, I don't put in time off requests. That's a notice.
It's a notification.
That's a time off notice that I will not be here from these dates.
So what you're telling them is they should like and subscribe to see your notifications of when you're not going to be there.
No, because I'm gonna block all of them from my social media too.
You would have known that I'm not gonna be there next week. I told you.
You should have known. How's it been tipping wise for you? I know we kind of touch on this a little bit sometimes, but it's been a little light this past week for me.
I will say that for a place like where I work, tipping usually doesn't change too much because we have so many regulars. We have so many people who know every bartender. Like, every bartender where I work has their own regulars.
Yeah.
You know, people that and by regular, I'm not saying they come there every day. I mean, that would be torture if the same guest came in every day.
Christ,
I'm trying to avoid that. But just they come in, you know, once or twice a month, once a week, something like that. You know they're going to tip you at least 20, sometimes a little bit more. You take care of them if you're able to, if the place you work at lets you do that. So for me, my tips haven't been overly affected, other than the fact that it's been slow. You know, we still have like our set times and our regulars that have kind of like softened the blow, but that's rare. Not every place has that. If you don't get people through the door, you're not making any money. You know, what have you had?
It's just, like I said, my weekend spot's been kind of slow because we didn't have any events. So we closed early. So our tips have been like pretty trash.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like, well, we'll just close early because nobody else is going to come.
Right.
We're getting our hourly, but it's like really.
Business is losing money at that point.
The business is losing money too. So I guess missing out on 3 hours hourly, I guess, whatever. We'll make it up in another event that's going to happen. So it's not too stressful. But tips have been a little bit trash.
Yeah. I mean,
it is what it is.
They have been.
It is what it is. The holiday season's coming up, holiday season's coming up, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, I mean, like we say, if you don't have the money, stay home. If you can't tip, stay home. People are listening to that. They are staying home.
We don't mean to come back. Come back,
bring
please.
You guys back.
Give us your dollar.
We were just playing. We didn't mean that. You know, I always feel that it's about environment, like we've talked about before.
Yeah.
You have the right environment, people are going to want to be a part of it. So, I'm not saying it's all on management, because if people don't come out, they don't come out. But you know, it always helps to have a good manager or series of managers that can kind of alleviate the blow there. Like where you're working, they're like, well, if we're not making any money, why are we open?
Yeah.
That, to me, that's good management. You know, it sucks to get off early and not have anything to do because you don't have any money to go out.
Then tempted to want to go out, but it's like, I shouldn't be spending any money because I didn't make any money.
Exactly. But at the same time, you don't want to be just standing there doing side work all day. Like nobody wants to do that. There's only so much
side work you can do.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So shout out to the people who actually pay attention to their business and say, hey man, we ain't making no money. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I love that.
I hate that. I hate it.
Speaking of businesses.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to segue here.
Oh, segue, please.
Okay. So speaking of businesses though, while in that aspect managers are good and that's a sign of a good business, what about let's talk about the bad side of it, where there's been this reoccurring theme of guests having to, I guess, pay extra, or that
like a surcharge or something.
Like a surcharge for health insurance.
Yeah,
for
that's
service
right.
industry workers, and
about that.
some businesses have adopted that, and the guests get upset, and they get upset at us, and it's like, I get why you guys are upset. It's like, why do you have to pay for us? I didn't ask for this.
Right.
But that's because these businesses are refusing to shell out money out of their own pocket for it. So it falls on the, that's what I'm looking for. falls on the responsibility of the customer, I guess.
Well, really, it should fall on the establishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with them putting that surcharge.
They're putting that on. Well, and we've talked about this, but it's thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, that falls on the establishment. That falls on the business. It shouldn't be on you to pay extra for my healthcare, just like it shouldn't be on me to pay extra money out of my pocket for my healthcare.
Yep.
The same way that, you know, an insurance job or operating a forklift, which I've done. I had way better health insurance when I operated a forklift, like what back in the day. But, you know, when I've had a job that actually offered insurance, I've been like, oh, dope. And the ones that I've had that offered it, they didn't charge the guests anymore. Really, it's just you can take that money out of like the amount that you're charging for food, the amount that you're charging for drinks and things like that, and cutting costs and things that make sense instead of just being like, oh, well, we're going to take away the tools for our employees to be able to do their job correctly, or we're going to put the onus on the guests to pay this extra charge, which what does that do?
Stupid.
Just pisses them
Yeah,
off.
it pisses them off.
They tip us less. And then the money that I could have made in tips, I'm losing now to pay for insurance that a business should have paid for.
That goes hand in hand with reporting tips and businesses charging more or refusing to pay us more because they're going to have to charge the guests more. So, like, all of that kind of goes hand in hand with each other. And it just creates this nasty, vicious circle of businesses wanting to be cheap and treating us as expendable. And when we were like, what do they call it during the pandemic? Priority. What was the name of it?
Furloughed or some shit like that. I can't remember.
Priority workers or
essential workers.
Thank you, essential workers.
We were the same as nurses.
Yeah.
Until everything opened back up, and it was like, get my coffee, bitch.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, thank you for working that drive-through. Until it was like we were back working the drive-throughs and everything, and it was taking long because there was 5 people doing the work of 10 people.
How you go from hero to peasant?
Yeah,
so quickly.
I mean, it's the American way. Capitalism, man. It'll do it every time.
Oh man, I keep seeing these videos of Starbucks workers unionizing, and then the managers are just like firing them or not even like all these Starbucks establishments are like firing these people that are trying to unionize, and then like guests are kind of on the side of the establishment.
Yeah.
Oh, you should be fortunate they give you a job, this and that. It's like, yeah, but it's a toxic working environment.
Which I love that working in a customer-centric job, whenever you work in a place like that, they try to make you feel like, oh, man, it's an honor for you to work that job. But for the person, you know, working as a sanitation worker or whatever, it's just like, oh, that job sucks. You got to get out of that. Keep that same energy.
Yeah.
You should be happy you moving trash.
Yeah.
Nah, it's a job you don't want to do, and you don't, and I'm doing it. Oh, well.
Careful.
I'm also grabbing mics. Why'd I grab that with 2 hands immediately? I don't like that reflex right there, yo. With the hard eye contact. Nah, buddy.
You looked at the
But exactly.
Oh my God!
You know what? I'm just letting.
I'm not cutting any of this out.
Hey, please don't.
I'm not cutting any of this out.
I grab things that are expensive and apparently black. I don't know why. That was my immediate thought. Was 2 hands. I am gonna clear my browser history. And we can start back from that cue. Yeah? Okay.
What were you saying?
I don't remember.
Oh, shit. I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, so did I.
We were talking about essential workers, and then you just went and
then I became one. Because nobody talks about how porn workers had to continue doing porn during the pandemic, okay? They did. They were out there working for all of us. But, you know, that's cool. That's all right. We ain't going to shout them out.
We could.
They're not essential.
They are.
How many essential OnlyFans models do you know?
None.
Oh, I know at least 3. They are very essential. I don't subscribe. I like, but I don't subscribe. There you go.
Fair enough.
That's how I treat OnlyFans. I like, but I don't subscribe.
Okay.
And keep some dignity. It's the only thing stopping me from becoming an incel is subscribing to OnlyFans.
That's the only thing.
That's the only thing. I'm
That's
fighting
the
it
only
off.
thing?
Fighting it off as long as possible.
The last episode we had with X, I was wanting you to tell that story of the one dude when you were playing Matchmaker. It was on the subject of playing Matchmaker, and you told the story.
So I will say that I wish this was something that I didn't see that often.
I want them to hear this story.
Yeah,
so you can change
I wish it
names
was
if you
something
need
that I didn't see that often, but I see it all the time. And I'm sure you do too.
Mm-hmm.
You see someone sit down at a bar by themselves, and then next thing you know, someone else from same sex, different sex, whatever, it doesn't matter. Someone that they're attracted to sits down by themselves. So they immediately want to start up a conversation. Well, the other person could just be being cordial. Hey, I'm sitting at a bar by myself. I don't want to be rude. Just holding a conversation. Some people take that as like, this is my shot. Oh, they're interested. Sometimes people just are like cool with talking to you. It's the same as the comment section.
Yeah.
Just treat it the same. It's like, conversation's over, move on.
Yep.
But there was one time where this guy, he saw another young woman sitting down. She was by herself reading a book. He interjected. He wanted to talk about watches for some reason because he collects watches. And he needed everyone to know that he collects watches. And the watch that he's wearing costs $400. And the one that he just bought costs $1,000. And he's sitting there in scrubs. And I'm like, bro, you in scrubs. Why does your watch cost so much, but you're in scrubs? Not to say that you can't do both, but he was not a doctor. So there was no reason to be in scrubs other than, hey, look at me. And then the same thing with the watch. Fast forward, long story short, another one of our regulars came in who was also a bartender. So he was just conversing with this woman. Yeah.
I'm going to jump in.
Yeah.
Any person that does work in scrubs, unless they're on their lunch break, they are not going to go somewhere after work to be in scrubs unless they want people to know that they work a job where they had to work in scrubs. So
not exactly true.
No?
Not exactly true.
Okay.
Because some places they do have a locker room and they can change clothes, and some places don't. Some people don't want to change in the car. Some people don't have time. The place that they were their scrubs at could be right next door. I'm not gonna walk
personally
2 blocks to
then
get in my car. Yeah.
Personally then.
There's a place I work at. The place I work at has a place that people wear scrubs, but for different reasons.
Okay.
Now they are probably doing it for attention, but some people they just they don't want to change clothes.
Fair enough.
Some people are just lazy.
Go on.
But my point is, just to bring it home, another bartender sat next to her and just conversed with her, and everything was cool. So this guy took it as a challenge. Like, no, I got to get her to pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. And I'm watching the whole thing. At the end, after she's been cordial to both equally, converse with both equally, even though this guy is being the more aggressive one, when he realizes he no longer has a chance, he gets up, stands in between them while they're talking and says, well, it was nice meeting you both. And he looks at her and he looks at him and says, I hope both of y'all hook up tonight. And just walks out. And it was the most awkward 10 seconds I think I've had in a very long time while standing behind the bar. It's one thing to get a no and not be able to accept it, but to then try to sour the moment by saying, oh, well, you didn't pick me, so fuck you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Just walk away, man. Just leave. Like, just take that L. Now you taking a basket of L's with you. Like,
he had the L's and he was like, you get an L.
Yeah,
everybody in this building gets an L.
It was really bad.
He just Oprah'd with the L's.
Yeah. I mean, I know, like I said, I'm sure you've seen that
before,
but
nothing to that degree. That's just...
I've seen it way more
than
That is
like secondhand embarrassment.
That is the worst one, though, by far.
That is extreme.
Yeah.
The worst part is like, I kind of condone it because it's like, well, if I can't get it, you can't get it either. Fuck it.
Yeah, but how does that work? All he did
I wouldn't do that, but
you condone it.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, why not? Like me watching from the outside, I'd be like,
I'm not gonna take that down the path that I could right now. I just want you to know there's a path I could take that on, and I'm just choosing not to. Anyway, he condones it, but he don't do it.
Yeah.
Let's not find out what else is on that list. Just check your browser history. Jesus, man. I don't do that shit, but I condone it. It's okay.
Man, I can't say anything. My mom's right here.
Yeah.
I don't want to I don't want her to face palm. I haven't even turned around that way to look.
Oh,
so
when we do the next episode, you're sitting where I'm sitting. You're going to take all of those.
Oh, you just get those judgmental stares. Is she going to throw a chocolate?
She's holding it right now.
Okay, we wrap it up. Are we good?
She's got the Spartan sandals too, so you know it's going to hurt.
Oh, my God.
Got a bling on it, so it'll like shine in the camera as it hits you in the face. I love it. She came prepared.
No.
Yeah,
Okay.
nothing?
Yeah, no, I got nothing. Nope.
Yeah, we're not done yet.
Okay.
Still got a few more minutes.
Okay.
Aww,
I wasn't sure.
He's all nervous.
No, I like, you know, that sense of like where you could feel something's like right there.
Uh-huh.
That's me right
That's
now.
the chocolate.
Yeah.
You can feel it on the nape of your neck.
I can feel my neck hair standing up.
Wow.
But no, it is pretty messed up what he did, but
Yeah.
I would enjoy watching that from the other table. Like, damn.
I mean, it makes for good conversation.
It does.
I'm not gonna lie. It does make for
It's
good
funny as hell.
conversation. We all got a laugh out of it after the awkward moment. But I don't know. For me, it's like I'd rather just take my L's in silence.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need the whole room to know I'm taking an L as I walk out. You know, he cried on the train.
Oh, for
home.
sure.
He cried on the
He
train.
gonna cry on the way home.
Yeah, he definitely did. This motherfucker put on a ski mask so nobody could see his tears.
Oh shit.
Why is that white guy wearing a ski mask on the train? It's okay. He's crying. He's crying.
Yeah, he for sure cried about
He
it.
definitely did. He's like, oh, I got him. Yeah, I still haven't seen him. I want to see him again.
You want to see him again?
I want him to come back and ask for an update. Like, hey, did they hook up? So I'll be like,
Oh,
yes, they
God.
did. They didn't. But he don't need to know that.
He doesn't. Just to like really throw salt, vinegar, and everything in that wound.
You know what made it the funniest though? At the end of the night, she went home with 2 women.
That's a twist.
And there's a twist.
That's a twist.
There was a lot of twisting at the end of that night as well. There's a lot of twisting. There's a lot of shapes. There's alphabets. Needed construction paper for all that scissoring.
Oh shit.
I apologize for what I have said, Mom. I tried to co-sign his apology. I have to say my own.
Oh my
And,
God.
I think we should end this podcast
Yeah.
and think about what I've done.
Yeah. Let's just end it there. Thank you, everybody.
Thank y'all. We'll
See you
see y'all
next
next up.
Jesus Christ.